The void between Jupiter and Saturn had always been Dr. Isabella Wright's favorite place to think. Here, amid the eternal night punctuated by distant stars, she could forget about the budget cuts threatening her deep space salvage operation, or the mounting pressure from the United Earth government to show results. The ancient mining vessel she'd converted into a research ship, the Helios, drifted silently through space as she stared out the observation deck's reinforced windows. "Dr. Wright," Raja's voice crackled through the ship's comm system, interrupting her reverie. "We're picking up something strange on long-range scanners. You might want to see this." Isabella made her way to the bridge, her magnetic boots clicking against the metal floor. Raj Patel, her chief sensor operator, hunched over his console, his dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of the holographic display. "What have you got?" she asked, leaning over his shoulder. "At first I thought it was just another piece of space debris," Raj said, manipulating the display with practiced gestures. "But look at these energy readings. Whatever it is, it's giving off trace amounts of radiation I've never seen before." The object appeared on the main view screen, a massive dark shape against the starfield, easily twice the size of the Helios. Its hull was covered in what looked like geometric patterns, too regular to be natural formations. "Distance?" Isabella asked, her heart beginning to race. "About 50,000 kilometers and closing. We're on an intercept course." Isabella studied the readings. The radiation signature was unlike anything in their database, and the object's composition included elements that shouldn't exist in nature. This was it, the discovery that could save her program. "Send a message to the team. I want everyone suited up and ready for investigation in 20 minutes." The next few hours were a blur of activity. As they drew closer, the true nature of their discovery became clear. It wasn't just debris, it was a ship. An alien ship. The vessel was clearly designed for combat, with what appeared to be weapon ports along its sleek hull, though they were dark and lifeless now. Isabella led the first expedition team herself, accompanied by Raj and their chief engineer, Nikolai Volkov. As their shuttle approached the derelict vessel, Isabella's mind raced with possibilities. This wasn't just a discovery, it was a revolution. The first confirmed alien spacecraft in human history. The ship's hull was made of a material that their scanners couldn't penetrate, smooth and dark as obsidian. They found an entry point that looked like an airlock, though its design was unlike anything human engineers had conceived. Nikolai, with his expertise in xenotechnology, managed to interface their equipment with the alien systems, and after tense minutes of work, the outer doors slowly ground open. Inside, the ship was a maze of corridors that seemed to defy conventional geometry. The artificial gravity was still functioning, though at a lower level than Earth standard. Their helmet lights revealed panels covered in symbols that shifted and changed as they watched, and technology that made Earth's most advanced systems look like children's toys. "This is incredible," Nikolai breathed, his Russian accent thicker with excitement as he scanned the walls. "The metal itself appears to be some kind of programmable matter. And these energy conduits, they're carrying power through quantum channels. We're looking at technology centuries beyond our current capabilities." Isabella moved deeper into the ship, drawn forward by a mix of scientific curiosity and something else, an almost primal instinct that told her they were on the verge of something world-changing. The corridors led them to what appeared to be a bridge or command center, filled with dormant control panels and a massive view screen. "Can you interface with their systems?" she asked Nikolai. He nodded, already connecting his equipment to what looked like a central console. "Give me time. Their computer architecture is like nothing I've ever seen, but there are patterns. Universal constants in mathematics and physics that we might be able to use as a foundation for communication." As Nikolai worked, Isabella explored the bridge, her trained eye taking in details. The ship was abandoned but not damaged, no signs of combat or catastrophic failure. It was as if its crew had simply left. "Dr. Wright." Raj called out suddenly. "These readings, the power signature is getting stronger. I think the ship is waking up. The alien vessel's systems began to hum to life around them, panels lighting up with those strange, shifting symbols. But instead of fear, Isabella felt a surge of excitement. This was more than just a scientific discovery. This was humanity's chance to leap forward, to claim their place among the stars. What she didn't know then was that this discovery would soon become Earth's only hope for survival. The ship wasn't just a derelict, it was a warning, and their time to understand its secrets was running out. As the alien systems continued to activate around them, Isabella made a decision that would change the course of human history. Nikolai, download everything you can. Raj, contact the Helios, we're going to need every tow cable we've got. We're taking this ship home. The remote research facility in the Atacama Desert wasn't much to look at, a collection of prefab buildings and makeshift hangars that seemed to shimmer in the heat. But it was perfect for Isabella's needs, isolated, secure, and far from prying eyes. The alien vessel, now dubbed Prometheus by the team, dominated the largest hangar, its dark hull absorbing the harsh desert sunlight. 3 months had passed since they'd towed their discovery back to Earth, and each day brought new revelations, and new mysteries. Isabella stood in what they'd identified as the ship's engine room, watching as Nikolai and his engineering team attempted to decode its propulsion systems. The quantum drive matrix is unlike anything in theoretical physics, Nikolai explained, his hands dancing over a holographic interface they jury-rigged to communicate with the alien systems. It doesn't just bend space, it rewrites the underlying laws of reality on a localized scale. Can we replicate it? Isabella asked, though she already knew the answer. They'd been asking the same question about every system they'd discovered. Not yet. But we're learning. The ship's AI seems to be helping, in its own way. That had been their biggest breakthrough, and their biggest concern. 2 weeks after beginning their research, they discovered that Prometheus wasn't just a ship. It was alive, in its own way. Its computer systems operated on principles that blurred the line between artificial and organic intelligence. Dr. Wright. Raja's voice came through her comm unit with unusual urgency. You need to see this. Now. Isabella found him in their makeshift command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing data streams from Prometheus's memory banks. His usual calm demeanor was gone, replaced by barely contained anxiety. We finally cracked one of the encrypted data cores, he said without preamble. It's not good. The displays shifted, showing what appeared to be tactical data. Star maps, fleet movements, battle plans. But what caught Isabella's attention was a date stamp, converted to Earth Standard Time, 3 months from now. This isn't historical data, she realized, her blood running cold. It's tactical predictions. Future events. Raj nodded grimly. Prometheus wasn't abandoned. It was sent here. As a warning. The data painted a terrifying picture. The ship belonged to a civilization called the Meridian Collective, one of many species locked in a devastating war with an aggressive empire known as the Vex. The Vex were expansionists, conquering and absorbing other civilizations into their hive mind network. And according to Prometheus's data, they had just detected Earth. How long? Isabella asked. Best estimate? 4 months until their advance fleet arrives. The main armada follows 2 months after that. Raja's voice was steady, but his hands were shaking. We don't show up as anything but a footnote in their invasion plans. They don't even consider us a threat. Isabella stared at the tactical projections, watching simulated Vex warships tear through Earth's defenses like paper. Their most advanced military technology would be useless against an enemy this advanced. Unless. What about Prometheus's weapons, she asked. Operational, technically. But we barely understand how to turn them on, let alone use them effectively. And even if we did, one ship against an armada dash. Then we don't fight them as one ship, Isabella interrupted, an idea taking shape. We learn how this technology works, and we adapt it. Prometheus wasn't just sent as a warning, it was sent as a gift. Everything we need to defend ourselves is right here in its systems. The military will want to take over once they know, Nikolai pointed out, having joined them silently during their discussion. Then we don't tell them. Not yet. Isabella's decision was instantaneous. We have 3 months to understand this technology and find a way to use it. If we bring in the military now, we'll lose weeks to bureaucracy and power struggles. We do this ourselves, right here. That's treason, Raj said quietly. No, Isabella corrected him, her eyes fixed on the holographic display of approaching doom. That's survival. The next weeks were a blur of breakthrough and setback, progress and frustration. They worked around the clock, pushing themselves to understand technologies that operated on principles Earth's scientists hadn't even theorized yet. Prometheus's AI helped where it could, though its methods of communication were often cryptic and alien. They learned that the ship's hull wasn't just armor, it was a single massive quantum computer, capable of adapting its structure and properties in response to threats. Its weapons operated by temporarily rewriting the laws of physics in localized areas, creating effects that seemed like magic to their primitive understanding. But most importantly, they learned why the Meridians had chosen Earth to receive their warning. Human brains, they discovered, had a unique capacity for creative problem-solving that the Meridians' more logical species lacked. Where the Meridians saw their technology as finished products to be used as designed, humans looked at it and saw possibilities, adaptations, new ways to combine and apply these incredible tools. It was this potential that the Meridians had seen in humanity, the potential to take their technology and use it in ways they never imagined. The potential to become something new, something that might stand a chance against the approaching storm. As Isabella watched her team work, seeing the impossible become possible day by day, she felt a fierce pride. They were no longer just scientists and engineers. They were becoming humanity's secret weapon, the thin line between Earth and extinction. But time was running out, and the sky was getting darker. The first breakthrough came at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. Isabella was reviewing quantum field calculations for the 1,000th time when Nikolai burst into her office, his normally pristine lab coat stained with coffee and engine grease. "We did it," he announced, slapping a tablet down on her desk. "We finally figured out how to replicate the quantum drive matrix." The tablet showed test results that should have been impossible, a perfect miniature version of Prometheus's reality-bending engine, built from Earth materials. It wasn't just a copy, it was an improvement. Where the original required exotic materials, they'd found ways to achieve similar effects with modified terrestrial elements. How? Isabella asked, scrolling through the data in amazement. "We stopped trying to understand it their way," Nikolai explained, his eyes bright with excitement. "The Meridians built everything on pure logic, perfect theoretical models. But we found that if you introduce just a touch of chaos, controlled instability, the whole system becomes more efficient. It's less elegant, but more powerful." It was exactly what the Meridians had predicted about human innovation. While they sought perfection, humans excelled at finding brilliant imperfections. The next breakthrough came from Raj's team a week later. They'd cracked the code of the ship's adaptive hull technology and found a way to manufacture it using modified graphene structures. It wasn't as advanced as Prometheus's original hull, but it could be mass-produced quickly. But their progress didn't go unnoticed. One morning, Isabella arrived at the facility to find a sleek black helicopter parked outside. 2 figures in dark suits stood waiting, Agent Thomas Ward and Dr. Rebecca Liu from the United Earth Intelligence Service. "Dr. Wright," Ward greeted her with a thin smile. "We need to talk about your recent material requisitions. Particularly the industrial quantities of graphene and quantum processors." Isabella had prepared for this moment, but it came sooner than she'd hoped. "Follow me," she said simply. She led them through the facility to Prometheus's hangar. Their reactions were exactly what she'd expected: shock, disbelief, then rapidly shifting to calculation of how they could take control of the situation. "This is a level 1 security breach," Ward began, reaching for his phone. "I'm calling in a containment team dash." In exactly 73 days, Isabella interrupted, "An alien armada will arrive in our solar system with the intention of absorbing Earth into their collective. When that happens, you'll have two choices: trust us, or watch humanity fall." She showed them everything, the tactical data, their breakthroughs, the preparations they'd been making. Dr. Liu, at least, seemed to understand the implications immediately. "These advancements," she breathed, examining their miniaturized quantum drive. "This isn't just reverse engineering. You're innovating." "We are," Isabella confirmed. "And we need your help to accelerate production. We don't have time for bureaucracy or power struggles. The enemy is coming, and we need to be ready." What followed was a careful dance of authority and necessity. The UEIS would provide resources and protection, but Isabella's team would maintain operational control. It was an unprecedented arrangement, but these were unprecedented times. Production facilities were established in secret locations around the globe. The principles they discovered were adapted into new forms: defensive shields, energy weapons, communication systems that couldn't be intercepted or blocked. Each innovation built on the last, creating a technological web that was distinctly human despite its alien origins. But their enemy was approaching faster than expected. The first signs came from deep space monitoring stations, quantum distortions that matched Prometheus's predictions exactly. The Vex Advance fleet was entering the solar system. "They're early," Raj announced one morning, his voice tense as he studied the long-range sensor data. "Based on these readings, we have maybe 2 weeks, not 3. Isabella stared at the tactical display, watching the approaching signatures. They weren't ready. The new defense systems were only at 60% deployment, and training crews to use the hybrid technology was taking longer than expected. "What about the planetary shield network?" she asked. "Online, but untested at full power," Nikolai reported. "We can't guarantee it will hold against a concentrated attack." "And our offensive capabilities?" 8 vessels retrofitted with our quantum drives and weapons systems. Maybe 12 more will be ready in time, but crews are still learning how to handle the new technology." It wasn't enough. Not nearly enough. But as Isabella watched her team working, saw the determination in their eyes and the incredible progress they'd made, she felt something else growing alongside her fear, pride, and hope. They'd taken alien technology and made it their own, improved it in ways its original creators never imagined. They'd compressed centuries of technological advancement into months through sheer human ingenuity and determination. "Send word to all facilities," she ordered. "Full deployment of all available assets. And get me a secure line to UAS command. It's time to show them what we've built." As she waited for the connection, Isabella's hand rested on Prometheus's hull, feeling the slight vibration of its systems. The ship had brought them a warning, but humanity had turned it into something more: a chance, a hope, a future. The sky was darkening, but they would not go quietly into the night. They would fight with everything they had, with technology born from the stars but forged by human hands. And maybe, just maybe, that would be enough to change their destiny. They detected the first Vex scout ship just beyond Mars' orbit. Isabella stood in the newly constructed Earth Defense Command Center, buried deep beneath the Atacama facility, watching as the alien vessel probed humanity's outer defenses. "They're scanning us," Raj reported from his upgraded sensor station. "Getting readings similar to what we found in Prometheus's tactical database. They're assessing our threat level." "Let them look," Isabella replied, a grim smile playing at her lips. "Our surface technology is exactly what they expected to find. Everything else is shielded by the quantum dampening fields." The past 2 weeks had transformed the facility into humanity's last line of defense. Military personnel worked alongside scientists, learning to operate hybrid weapons systems that merged human intuition with alien technology. The 8 completed defense vessels, dubbed Guardians, waited in hidden hangars across the globe, their crews running constant drills. Dr. Liu had proven to be an invaluable ally, using her UAS connections to coordinate global defense preparations while maintaining secrecy. Latest intelligence suggests they're following standard VEX protocols, she reported. They'll send in a small force first, test our capabilities. Then we give them something to think about, Isabella decided. Lieutenant Commander Reeves, is Guardian Squadron ready? James Reeves, a veteran pilot chosen to lead Earth's new space force, nodded sharply. Ready and eager, Doctor. The crews have adapted to the neural interfaces better than expected. Turns out video games were good training for quantum warfare. The Vex scout ship made its first aggressive move 3 hours later, launching what appeared to be automated probe drones toward Earth. They never made it past the asteroid belt. Guardian Squadron emerged from their quantum shadows, their hybrid weapons systems turning the drones into scattered atoms. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Raj called out suddenly. They're bringing in reinforcements. The main tactical display lit up with new contacts, 3 Vex warships, each larger than anything humanity had ever built. They emerged from quantum space like predators scenting blood, their hulls bristling with weapons that could reduce cities to ash. They're broadcasting, Raj announced. Converting to audio. A voice filled the command center, artificial and cold, primitive species designation, human. Your resistance is noted. Prepare for assessment and integration into the collective. Resistance will result in reduced survival percentages during absorption. Isabella keyed the response she'd prepared, this is Earth Defense Command. We reject your offer of absorption. This system is protected. Withdraw, or face the consequences. The answer came in the form of energy weapons that could crack planets. But Earth wasn't defenseless anymore. The planetary shield network activated, quantum fields bending the deadly energy away from the atmosphere. Guardian Squadron engaged, their smaller ships dancing through space in ways the larger Vex vessels couldn't match. They're adapting to our shield frequencies, Nikolai warned from his engineering station. Standard Meridian defenses won't hold for long. Good thing we're not using standard defenses then, Isabella replied. Activate the resonance cascade. This was their secret weapon, a modification to the shield technology that no logical species would have attempted. Instead of trying to perfectly deflect enemy fire, the shields absorbed it, became unstable, and then released the energy in concentrated bursts. It was dangerous, barely controlled, and exactly the kind of innovation that made humans unique. The first Vex warship disappeared in a flash of quantum fire, its own weapons turned against it. The second fell to concentrated fire from Guardian Squadron, its superior size becoming a disadvantage against the more agile Earth ships. The third warship retreated, jumping to quantum space with battle data that would soon reach the main Vex armada. They had won their first battle, but the war was just beginning. Status report, Isabella called out as the command center erupted in cautious celebration. Guardian Squadron reports minimal damage, Reeves responded. The resonance cascade worked better than simulations predicted. Shields are recharging, all systems nominal. The Vex will analyze every aspect of this engagement, Dr. Liu warned. Their next attack will be adapted to counter our capabilities. Let them try, Isabella said, studying the tactical display. Every time they adapt, we'll innovate. They're fighting with logic and calculation, we're fighting with human creativity and determination. And we've got something else they don't have. What's that? Raj asked. Isabella smiled, touching the piece of Prometheus's hull they'd mounted on the command center wall, their reminder of where this journey began. We're fighting for our home. But even as her team celebrated their first victory, Isabella's mind was racing. The main Vex armada would arrive soon, and they would come prepared for a real fight. Earth had shown its hand, revealed that they possessed advanced technology and the ability to use it in unexpected ways. The element of surprise was gone. Now they would have to rely on something even more powerful, humanity's endless capacity to adapt, to innovate, and to surpass their own limitations. The real test was still to come, and Isabella knew that their next set of innovations would have to be even more dramatic than the last. As if sensing her thoughts, the quantum sensors began picking up new signatures from deep space. Many more signatures. The storm wasn't over, it was just beginning. The Vex Armada arrived like a dark tide, thousands of ships dropping out of quantum space in perfect formation. Earth's long-range sensors lit up with warnings as the massive fleet approached, their weapons already charged and ready. Isabella stood at her command station, watching the tactical display with steady eyes. Around her, the command center hummed with controlled tension as military personnel and scientists worked together, monitoring systems that merged human and alien technology in ways neither species had imagined possible. 5,000 ships, Raj announced, his voice tight but professional. Including 3 command vessels larger than anything in the Meridian database. Lieutenant Commander Reeves stepped forward, his face grim. Guardian Squadron is in position, along with all 30 of the new hybrid vessels. The planetary shield network is at full power, and ground-based defenses are online. The Vex fleet's approach was methodical, precise, and utterly predictable. They arranged themselves in tactical patterns that Prometheus's database had shown them, preparing for a systematic dismantling of Earth's defenses. They're broadcasting, Dr. Liu reported. All channels. The same artificial voice from before filled the command center, but now it carried notes of something almost like curiosity, anomalous species designation, human. Your resistance exceeds predicted parameters. Final opportunity for voluntary integration. Resistance at this scale will result in significant population loss during absorption. Isabella keyed the command channel, this is Earth Defense Command. We've studied your tactics, analyzed your technology, and improved upon it. We are not your prey. We are humanity, and we will not be absorbed. The Vex response was immediate and overwhelming. Thousands of energy weapons fired simultaneously, a wave of destruction that would have annihilated their world just months ago. But humanity wasn't the same species that had discovered Prometheus in the void. The planetary shield network activated, but not as a simple barrier. Using principles that would have horrified the Meridians, Earth's defenders had turned their entire atmosphere into a quantum computer. The shield didn't just absorb or deflect energy, it redirected it, transformed it, used it. Resonance Cascade Network is stable, Nikolai reported from engineering. Ready to implement Protocol Prometheus. Isabella took a deep breath. Everything they'd built, everything they'd learned, had led to this moment. Execute Protocol Prometheus. All units, engage at will. What followed was warfare unlike anything in human history. Guardian Squadron and their sister ships moved like dancers through space, their human pilots working in perfect harmony with quantum drives that bent reality itself. Where the Vex expected logical responses, they found creative chaos. Where they anticipated retreat, they met advance. Every human ship fought differently, adapting and innovating in real time. But the true surprise came from Earth itself. The Resonance Cascade Network, powered by the combined energy of the Vex's own weapons, began to pulse. Quantum fields rippled out from the planet in waves, each one carrying a different frequency, a different pattern, a different human innovation. First wave successful, Raj called out. 20% of enemy fleet showing signs of systems corruption. The Vex ships began to falter as human-designed quantum viruses infected their networks. These weren't simple computer programs, they were pieces of hybrid technology that operated on principles the Vex couldn't predict or counter. Each virus carried the spark of human creativity, introducing chaos into their perfectly ordered systems. They're adapting, Dr. Liu warned. Second wave of ships adjusting their quantum shielding. As expected, Isabella replied. Initiate second phase. This was their master stroke, the ultimate expression of humanity's gift for unconventional thinking. The quantum field surrounding Earth wasn't just a shield or a weapon. It was a key, unlocking potential that had always existed in the fabric of space itself. Guardian Squadron's ships began to flicker and multiply, quantum echoes becoming solid reality. The Vex found themselves fighting an enemy that could be everywhere and nowhere, their logical tactics useless against opponents that rewrote the rules of physics with every maneuver. Command vessels are launching their primary weapons, Reeves reported tensely. These aren't in the database. Isabella watched as 3 massive energy signatures built up within the Vex command ships. They're trying to end this quickly. Channel all power to the resonance network. Everything we've got. The Vex command ships fired, their combined energy enough to shatter planets. But as the devastating beams reached Earth's atmosphere, something unprecedented happened. The quantum field didn't just absorb or redirect the energy, it reversed it, turned it inward, used the Vex's own perfect logic against them. The command ship's weapons backfired spectacularly, their energy consuming them from within. In the chaos that followed, humanity's defenders pressed their advantage. Guardian Squadron struck from impossible angles, their hybrid weapons finding weaknesses that shouldn't have existed. Enemy fleet is breaking formation, Raj announced, wonder in his voice. They're retreating. One by one, then in groups, the Vex ships began to jump away. Not in the perfect order they'd arrived in, but in disarray, their collective consciousness shaken by something they'd never encountered, defeat at the hands of a species they'd considered primitive. As the last enemy ships disappeared into quantum space, leaving behind the wreckage of their fallen, a cheer went up in the command center. Humanity had faced its greatest test and emerged not just victorious, but transformed. Isabella looked around at her team, at Raja's tired but proud smile, at Nikolai's tears of joy, at Dr. Liu's quiet satisfaction and Commander Reeves' professional nod. They had done the impossible, not by following the path laid out by more advanced civilizations, but by finding their own way. Send word to all stations, she ordered. The Earth is secure. And send a message into deep space, on all frequencies, to any species watching, know this, humanity is not prey. We are not a footnote in your expansion plans. We are innovators, creators, defenders. We take what we're given and make it better. We face the impossible and find a way. We are humanity, and we're just getting started. As her words echoed into the void, Isabella touched the fragment of Prometheus mounted on the wall. The ship that had brought them warning had given them more than technology, it had given them a chance to prove what humanity could really do. And they had done more than prove themselves. They had changed the rules of the game.